to Alain Prost yesterday about his time with Damon Hill in 1993 when Prost won the World Championship, and of his own volition he was so impressed with Damon Hill that although Damon was supposed to be, and was in fact, number 2 to Prost, Prost asked that he be given number 1, equal number 1 status. So Paul Edwards, the fat controller as he's called in the Williams team because he does their catering, holds out the board which tells Damon Hill that he's 1.2 seconds behind Jacques Villeneuve. A bit irrelevant. As far as Damon's concerned, he can see exactly where Villeneuve is and he's going for it. Lap 72, and Prost also said there's been a lot of rubbish talk to Schumacher. Michael Schumacher retires from the Hungarian Grand Prix, as did Eddie Irvine, and that makes, gosh, I'm losing count now. This is what, 9 retirements from 10 starts for Ferrari. Believe me, this doesn't please me any more than it will please Ferrari fans all around the world. But the fact, obviously, is that Schumacher was struggling all the way for a long, long time, and that Ferrari is still very, very fragile. A lot to do, bitter disillusionment, bitter disappointment for Ferrari, but Alesi goes up into 3rd position, so Renault engines are now 1st, 2nd and 3rd. They've had a 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th this season, and this is what Jonathan prophesied. There is Häkkinen being caught by Jacques Villeneuve. Mika Häkkinen moves over but has to take the racing line on the corner to go round. I've no doubt that he'll let Damon Hill through as well, and he does so. Damon Hill goes through on the inside. This is lap 72, and you're going to see a tremendous fighting finish to the Hungarian Grand Prix. And just to put you in the rest of the picture, Alesi is 3rd. Häkkinen has been lapped and is in 4th position. No consolation for him there. Schumacher is out, so up to 5th goes Parnis, up to 6th goes Barrichello, up to 7th goes Katayama, up to 8th goes Rosset, up to 9th, the last runner on the track of the 20 who started, goes Giovanni Lavaggi, and there is the race.
Well, that's a nice surprise for Jacques Villeneuve and Damon Hill. I bet they didn't think that was going to be that easy. Well, they've got Ukyo Katayama next, and ahead of Katayama is Barrichello, and both of these, Katayama lets them go by, but actually Villeneuve's had to go offline there. You see the dust come up, well, that's going to lose Villeneuve a little bit of performance from his car. Similarly, though, that's going to afflict Damon Hill, but critically they are both ahead. See how Damon slid then through that chicane? That's a consequence of just getting offline. He died again. You know, he got offline, he had to get offline to go by Katayama. It was a calculated gamble. It was worth going offline to get by quickly, but then he's lost some grip. Both have lost a little bit of grip. It looks like it's affected Damon Hill a little bit more than Jacques Villeneuve, because the gap seems to have increased. It has indeed 0.3 of a second. That was a good race from Gerhard Berger. He's been deprived of good results, hasn't he, the last couple of races? He did so well in Germany, deserved to win there before his engine expired, and he would have been 3rd as it happened. I know a lot of people can say that, but with Schumacher's demise, the Bennetons normally are very, very reliable, and it seems coincidental that it's Berger's Renault engine and not Villeneuve's, Hill's or Alesi's that's had a problem.
Well, you could see his utter dejection from his body language, totally downcast, and with every justification. He has had a lot of trouble settling down in the Benetton team, as has Jean Alesi. I heard a very amusing, but I fear unrepeatable story about Jean Alesi at one of the tests recently, but which was a bit of temperament. But they are now showing signs of settling down, and if there are changes in the Benetton team's driver lineup next year, which are being talked about, it would seem odd, because the team and the drivers have invested a lot, and locks up. Villeneuve locks up. You can see how hard he's trying. This is lap 74. It's still Alesi 3rd, Häkkinen, Parnis, Barrichello, but all the action is up at the front, and they're coming through to start lap 75.
Now, Villeneuve doesn't actually need to try that hard at the moment. He doesn't need to be, and indeed shouldn't be breaking that late that he's locking up, because even if he backed off a second a lap, there's no way that Damon Hill's going to get by, and Damon's biggest opportunity will come in such manoeuvre as if Villeneuve does lock up, and indeed he'd actually be better off just slowing up a little bit so that they don't come across Rubens Barrichello, because it's the fumbling over a back, well, you can hardly call Barrichello a back marker, although Jordan's performance has been well off the pace this weekend. It's the fumbling over someone that you're trying to lap can provide opportunity. We've seen Hakkinen move out of the way very graciously. We've seen them sweep past Ukko Katayama's Tyrrell. But it might not be the same there with Rubens Barrichello. Well, they're right up behind him. We're going to find out now.
Now, is Rubens going to move over? He's one of the chaps who's rumoured to be out of Formula One next year, possibly to go to Indy racing. There's the answer. He does so. And you may say, if this circuit is so dusty and it's the same every year, why on earth don't they clean it before the race? Well, I think that's a very good question, and I would like to know the answer to it as well. But the fact is that it is, and it remains very dusty, and if you get off the racing line, you raise the dust can get in your tyres, you lose grip as a result of that, and if you lose grip, then you've got a major problem. So this is the completion of lap 75 into lap 76, and it's a 77-lap race, and there are the men who are first and second. It's seemingly going to be another Williams-Renault 1-2. I'll have to check, but I think that will be the 4th of the season. But whatever, who is going to win? I can't see. It's the 5th of the season. I can't see anybody other than Jacques Villeneuve winning, because I do not believe that Damon is going to risk losing points altogether when he's got 6 within his grasp, and there are still 4 races to go.
Now we can see that there. Damon settled for second. He's done the right thing. He's not going to take any chances. And what a wonderful Williams formation finish. What a great way to celebrate the winning the Constructors' Championship. But Villeneuve's done everything right here. He did very, very well in qualifying. OK, he was third, but he was within a 1/10.5 of a second of poleman on his first visit. And what he did, crucially, was get off the line properly. He started well, made good use of being on the right side of the grid, and has done everything right on the way to winning this race. Damon Hill, meanwhile, did well in qualifying, second place. He was on that bad side of the grid. There was little he could do about the start, but he's driven superbly in the race. He's done as much as he could in this particular occasion, and it's merely the fact that he can't overtake because of the nature of the circuit that's going to mean that he's going to finish second. But he will nevertheless still maintain that 17-point lead in the championship. Schumacher showed that Ferrari are making progress, at least in qualifying. I'm not entirely convinced about the race. The Ferrari fragility still seems to be there. We saw it with the demise of Irvine and Schumacher, but nevertheless Ferrari are closing that gap, albeit with the masterful efforts of Schumacher at the wheel. Whereas behind that, and third place there, Alesi once again being the person that seems to bring these Benettons to the flag. I can't believe it's anything to do with Berger being hard on the car, but that's going to continue to close Alesi up. He is solidly in third place in the championship. Another 4 points will put him even more solidly in that position.
A wonderful, wonderful way for Williams to win their 8th Constructors' World Championship with a maximum 16 points, seemingly 10 from Jacques Villeneuve and 6 from Damon Hill. They only needed 2 points, even if both the Benettons had finished in first and second places. But now, with Alesi in third position and Berger out of the race, the Constructors' Championship is most certainly for Williams, but the Drivers' Championship is still wide open, especially if they finish in the order that they are in now, and they're going to do that because Villeneuve is up into the last corner. He's going to win his 3rd Grand Prix of the year and his first year of Grand Prix racing. Jacques Villeneuve wins in Hungary and beats Damon Hill by 6/10 of a second. As close as that. Maximum points for Williams. It reduces that World Championship gap between Villeneuve, who is still second, and Damon Hill, who still leads, to a mere 17 points, with 40 points still to be won. The championship is wide open. Hakkinen finishes in 4th position, a full lap down. McLaren and Mercedes have still not got the answer. John Alesi finishes in 3rd position. There he is in the Benetton Renault. And Parnis has finished indeed, because he's been lapped. In 5th position in the Ligier, with Rubens Barrichello again getting a point. But just as this race result is not of any great interest to McLaren and Mercedes, with one car out and Hakkinen only 4th, a lap down. So this race is not going to be of very much interest to Jordan, sadly, with Martin Brundle out when he went off the track in the early stages. And Barrichello 2 laps down. Jacques Villeneuve, we're riding on the Williams Renault now, and he waves to the crowd. A lot of them will not be giving the sort of wave back that he would like to see, because there is a gigantic German content in this Hungarian crowd, and what they wanted to see was their Schumi doing well. Well, their Schumi, Michael Schumacher, has done very badly with his 7th retirement in his 11th race for Ferrari.
Let's just watch a Lacey there. He seems to be driving in the marbles, and one of the reasons that is done, actually, is to pick up bits of the rubber on your tyres, because you can add to the weight of the car. And if there are any concerns about being light on weight, by driving through the marbles, picking up another 2 or 3 kilos, it might just make the difference.
Just shows you what you have to think about if you're a race driver. And of course, one of the many things you have to think about is where he is now, although it doesn't. So that's the white line, which indicates where the pit lane starts. And you've got to remember to hit the rev limiter in time to bring your speed down to 75 miles an hour. So into the Parc Fermé, where their cars will be examined minutely, and the drivers will be weighed as usual to make sure that the combined weight of the car and driver does not is not less than the limit. Damon Hill draws up second. There's a sad sight for Ferrari fans. Michael Schumacher being pulled in on the end of a tow rope. The last time that happened to him was the German Grand Prix last year, when he won the race in a Benetton, but stalled his engine as he stopped to take some applause.